All right, we're looking at number 10. O is the center of the circle. AB produced and DO produced meet at C. BC is equal to OA and angle ACO is equal to 22 degrees. This is generally how I would read the statement, but then I will read it again to start to understand what exactly is it giving me, what information is it giving me. O is the center of the circle, so if we look at O, this is the center of the circle. Now start to think about what center theorems do I have. I'm thinking about the angle at the center is twice the angle at the circumference, but I do not see a situation like this here, so I'm not going to worry much about that. I think of the angle subtended by a diameter is 90 degrees, but I do not see any angle subtended by a diameter here, so I'm not going to worry about that. Then when I go on to AB produced, I understand that it means that AB produced goes to C as a straight line. So it's ABC, as well as DO produced. It means DOC is a straight line. And this is important. You're going to see it as we discuss more problems on geometry, to understand that the extension of a line means that the line is therefore a straight line. BC is equal to OA. Now I'm going to just stop at this point and try to understand what this means in terms of the diagram. I can see BC, there is BC, and here is OA. So BC is equal to OA is given, but what does it tell me? Right now it doesn't tell me much because these are not in the same, these are not the sides of the same triangle, and therefore I can't say much. However, I can see that OB is a radius, OA is the radius also. So if that is the case, I can say that OA and OB are equal. And that comes from the fact that they are radii. And that then tells me that triangle OBC is an isosceles triangle. And what does that mean? It means that the base angles will be equal. So this angle here will also be 22 degrees, equal to this angle, which is C. So I've got that just from the information that is given, that BC is equal to OA. I then related BC to OB and then was able to conclude that OBC is an isosceles triangle. What is the question asking? It says calculate with reasons the size of AOD, angle AOD. I'm just going to put a question mark where AOD is so that I remember that I'm looking for AOD. Or I could also write just at the start of my calculation, what am I supposed to do? I am supposed to calculate angle AOD. This is going to remind me of my objective as I continue. I want to know what is it that I'm doing? And I'm going to start exactly doing that to see if I can get to find the size of angle AOD. Now, while I've indicated these things on the diagram, I still need to write them as statements and reasons in order for me to get marks. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start with the fact that angle BC, so the side BC is equal to the side OA. And the reason for this is that it is given. I was told that BC is equal to OA. And then I came with the idea that BC is also, sorry, this is not now the case of BC. I came with the idea that OB is also equal to OA. And the reason for that is that they are radii. So I've got OB equal to OA. What does that tell me? It tells me that I can make a conclusion that BC is therefore equal to OB. So from the fact that they are both equal to OA, I'm able to say it's equal to, they are also equal. And as I say that, it then tells me that triangle OBC is an isosceles triangle. I can write that down, that therefore triangle OBC is isosceles. And while this is not necessary, but it's going to keep reminding me what am I supposed to do. From this, I then say angle O1 is equal to angle C. What is the reason? Opposite equal sides. It's the angles opposite equal sides. You could also say base angles, this is base angles of isosceles, because we have said that OBC is an isosceles triangle. So we've got this. Now, what does it mean? It actually means that O1 is equal to 22 degrees. You can see these are the necessary steps for me to get marks. The diagram, I've already indicated this, but I then have to narrate it with the statements as well as the reasons that are correct for those statements. Now from here, I am reminding myself, what do I want to calculate? I want to calculate AOD. Am I any close to AOD? I don't seem to be that close to AOD. However, I know that these two angles, if I look at them, will give me this angle right there. Why is this the case? Because B2 is the exterior angle of triangle OBC. So it is equal to the sum of the opposite interior angles. There is B2. It is the sum of this, and you can see this is how it becomes the exterior angle. Remember, one side must be extended, and therefore B2 is an exterior angle to this triangle. And therefore, I can write that B2 is equal to O1 plus angle C. And the reason is obvious, exterior angle of a triangle. So it's equal to the opposite interior angles. And once I've got this, of course, I know that these are each equal to 22 degrees. So this will be 22 plus 22 degrees, which is equal to 44 degrees. And I'm going to go to the diagram and write this 44 degrees so that as I continue, I know and remember that this is equal to 44 degrees. I now have O1, I now have B2, but I still don't have AOD. The question is, how far am I from AOD? If I look at this, I already have the knowledge that OA is equal to OB. And what can I get out of that? I can make a conclusion that angle A is equal to angle B2. Why is this the case? And this, of course, will be equal to 44 degrees. The reason for that is, again, angles opposite equal sides, as we have said in the other isosceles triangle. So it's angles opposite equal sides. Why? Because we have said OA is equal to OB. That makes it an isosceles triangle, and therefore the base angles are equal. And I'm going to write again, this is 44 degrees. Now I can see what is going on with my diagram as I continue to write the statements and the reasons. But now I'm looking at AOD, and I think I'm quite close to AOD. If I look at the diagram that I have, I see the triangle here, this triangle, and I am tempted to say AOD is the exterior angle to that triangle. But hold on, this is the problem. This is exactly what happens in many of the answers that you give in the exams. This looks, AOD is external or is exterior to triangle AOB. However, it is not an exterior angle of that triangle, because for it to be an exterior angle of that triangle, it must be formed by the extension of one of the sides of AOB, and we don't have that. So let's look at what is happening. If you look carefully, you will notice that in fact this is an extension of this particular side. This is an extension of this whole triangle here. If you look at this whole triangle, you can see that AOD is the exterior angle as we continue with that side. And what does that mean? It means that angle A plus angle C will be equal to angle AOD. So as we take up this part, we just need to write that angle A plus angle C equal to angle AOD. We've written it the other way around, which in other words will say AOD is equal to angle A plus angle C, but it's the same thing. And what is the reason for that? We've already used this before. Exterior angle of a triangle. So we've got a triangle AOC and AOD. Angle AOD is the exterior angle of that particular triangle. And we can just add these two. This is 44 degrees plus 44 degrees, and we get this to be equal to angle AOD. And of course, this will be, sorry, this is not 44 plus 44. Let's fix that quickly. It's not 44 plus 44. Remember, angle C is 22 degrees. It's not 44 degrees. So let's fix that quickly. This is 44 degrees plus 22 degrees. And these are the mistakes that you must avoid in the exam. And this gives us 66 degrees as the size of angle AOD. Very important. What have we been able to do here? We have been able to relate an angle that was given C up to angle AOD, which is what was required. But it takes little steps until we get to angle AOD. And the only way you're going to be able to do this is practice. And notice how much we used the exterior angle of a triangle as well as the isosceles triangle, the base angles of an isosceles triangle. So you need to remember these things that you learned in grade 8, 9, and 10 in order for you to be able to answer a question like this.